I'm fully prepared with everything I need for the Jay-Z documentary. The moment he sent that legal letter, I knew I had to let the world see who he really is. He and Diddy are cut from the same cloth. He just hides his arrogance and control behind a cleaner image. Our feud has lasted 20 years, and I know better than anyone what he's done in the shadows. I even suspect that so-called funeral bouquet wasn't Diddy's idea at all, but Jay-Z acting on his behalf. Back when Nicki Minaj posted that video of him wearing a pink wig, all I did was repost it, and he got so nervous he had his lawyers threaten me. In 2015, Nicki worked her ass off helping him build his platform, and he allegedly pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. And then there's his fingerprints all over key incidents through the years, whether it's the elevator footage or the guest list at Diddy's parties. He was involved, clearly, but somehow he always walks away untouched. That's what he's best at, pulling strings behind the scenes while pretending to be spotless in public. And now that a corner of the darkness has been ripped open, I'm not stopping. Everything my team and I are doing isn't about attacking anyone. It's about making sure the truth can't be buried by him ever again.
He ain't answering the phone? He ain't answering the motherfucking phone.
Yeah, it's like this, like
we had a black billionaire's lunch.
Black excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch.
Oh,
Like,
I hate you, man.
And we here together, and we gonna keep staying together. We getting tighter.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Right here.
Jay-Z is now facing mounting pressure as reports continue to circulate suggesting that private exchanges between him and Sean Diddy Combs may have come to light, igniting a wave of intense online reaction. While no verified documentation has been formally released, the very suggestion of these communications has been enough to thrust Jay-Z into an uneasy and unfamiliar spotlight. Long regarded as one of the most calculated and protected figures in the music industry, Jay-Z now finds himself at the center of renewed scrutiny, with many revisiting his decades-long association with Diddy. Through a far
Sean Carter aided and abetted or was directly involved. It's about to get real tense, and there's a lot of girls and boys who are still trapped inside
a more critical lens. As these alleged messages dominate online discussions, old claims and unresolved questions are being reopened. Narratives once dismissed as speculation are resurfacing with new urgency. Fueled by an environment where public trust has grown increasingly fragile, perceptions are shifting rapidly, and the momentum behind this scrutiny shows no sign of slowing. What began as peripheral commentary has evolved into a growing storm that threatens to test Jay-Z's reputation, his influence, and the carefully constructed legacy he has maintained over decades. In earlier interviews, 50 Cent made it clear.
Explained that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. She explained how Jay-Z has done worse things than what Diddy did to Cassie to other females. And she said that she has the scars to prove it. She alleged that at one time Jay-Z attacked her and got it on film like Diddy did. And she alleged that this is why Jay-Z is totally pulling away from Diddy and you don't see him around. And it's been alleged for quite a while that Jay-Z is pulling away from Diddy because he doesn't want himself caught in the crossfire. I mean, you even have 50 Cent at this point talking about how Jay-Z is in hiding while this whole Diddy thing blows over. And you even have these accusations of Jay-Z being responsible for what happened to Cassie White. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jag had to say about Jay-Z being worse than Diddy. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit yet. That Cassie shit, that's nothing. I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that get them in the end.
Clear that he intentionally avoided embedding himself within Diddy's inner circle. According to him, certain invitations, environments, and atmospheres triggered immediate warning signs. Rather than ignoring those instincts, 50 says he chose to step back early, creating distance long before controversies became public. That deliberate separation, he explains, is what allows him to speak freely today without fear of contradiction or implication. When allegations surrounding Diddy later surfaced, 50 maintained that he learned about them the same way the public did through media reports. While acknowledging the seriousness of those reports, 50 emphasized that none of the revelations shocked him.
Exactly what Jay-Z's accuser is saying, that even though she dropped the lawsuit, she still stands by what she says, and she only dropped it because of harassment and the fact that she's terrified of Jay-Z. She says that Jay-Z is allegedly bullying her into saying that her accusations were false. In fact, in new legal documents, she is claiming that she was recently approached outside of her home and cornered by two people who told her they were investigators working for one of Jay-Z's lawyers. She claims they tried to get her to sign an affidavit stating that her claims against Jay-Z were false, but she refused. Jane Doe also claims the alleged investigators asked her if her attorney, Tony Busby, sought her out as a client and offered her money to pursue false claims against Jay-Z, two allegations she says she denied. He says this alleged confrontation left her intimidated and terrified, wondering how they found her when her identity had remained anonymous in media reports and legal proceedings. He also claims that her parents were approached by two investigators asking similar questions about Busby and her R story. In the new documents, she reveals she decided to drop the claim because she was frightened by the reaction from Jay-Z and his supporters. He says she feared she would be publicly outed and subjected to.
Instead, he suggested they aligned with concerns he had recognized long ago. To him, the headlines were not revelations but confirmations. That perspective has only intensified interest in why others, particularly those who remained close to Diddy, did not create similar distance earlier. As attention steadily shifted toward Jay-Z, critics began questioning his silence as developments surrounding Diddy continued to escalate. That reserved stance only deepened suspicion among some observers, who interpreted the lack of public response as strategic rather than neutral. Some believe Jay-Z's team recognized early signs that his name could surface in civil discussions or public speculation and moved quickly to manage perception before narratives could harden. Others warn that even in the absence of formal charges, reputational fallout can be swift and unforgiving. In today's media environment, social platforms accelerate the spread of unchecked claims.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey. Diddy, I know that. You and Jay-Z down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby, while he was married to Beyonce. Was it an aneurysm, Diddy? Or are you the one who paid the same coroner that you... Oh, Diddy...
Magnifying speculation until uncertainty itself becomes damaging. The result is a form of consequence that arrives long before any legal determination, creating pressure that feels immediate and impossible to contain. Industry insiders have cautioned that a single criminal probe can destabilize far more than just the individual at its center. The risk extends outward, touching anyone perceived as part of the immediate orbit. That reality is why many believe 50 Cent's documentary carries broader significance. Rather than focusing on one figure alone, the project seeks to examine how power functioned behind closed doors, who may have been aware of what was happening, and how responsibility can ripple outward once scrutiny begins. Analysts have also questioned how Diddy remained shielded for so long. Some point to strategic alliances and tight control.
They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it, but I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I ain't know anything about that, man. I ain't know about, Jay touching his, so I got to go see the video. I ain't hear about that.
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
Hey, him and Pocket's 1A, 1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with him.
I'm never a fan of somebody that...
over public narratives, suggesting that rumors circulated quietly for years without gaining traction. Adding to the tension, reports later emerged claiming Diddy may be cooperating with authorities in an effort to strengthen his position. While these claims remain unverified, the possibility alone has intensified unease, as cooperation could involve sharing information about others in his circle, raising the stakes across the entire industry. One reality is undeniable. This is not a backward-looking story. It is actively shaping what comes next. Each new revelation tightens the focus on those who remain silent. And Jay-Z is increasingly pulled into the center of that glare. The scrutiny carries particular weight because his history with Diddy stretches back decades, making claims of separation harder for critics to accept. Familiarity built over years does not easily dissolve.
These guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they done because they on a whole nother atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that he did, you got to understand, like, now he'll say that they're kids because he's raising kids of his own. You understand? But how would you like it that if Blue Ivory, 15, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, dating in his early 30s? You're not going to go for that. No matter what she came through in Hollywood. But you got to understand, guys who was around there, we didn't know Jay-Z them ages. We didn't know these cats' age. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't having no beards and nothing like that. They was wearing low cuts. You understand? Clean face. I would have never believed when Jay was coming around the block, scooping up the young girls and stuff like that he was 30 years old. If they 17, 18, 16 years old, and they 22, you thinking they 22, 23, something like that, 24 years old? They mama and them need to check them. They daddy and them need to check them. But that's not that far off. But for somebody to be 30 years old in their 30s and they dealing with kids 16 years old, 17, 18 years, now that's a problem. That's an issue. And now he see that because he's raising kids. And he got a young daughter. I think he got another daughter that he didn't claim, and now he claiming them. These cats was doing a whole lot of stuff that people in the industry won't speak on. And then now that you're speaking on it and it's becoming where is that you can get on YouTube and you could talk about this shit and say what you seen or say what you heard, you understand, or what you know. Some people look at it being a problem. But these cats ain't street cats.
In the public imagination. That tension escalated when Gene Deal publicly pushed back against statements from Jay-Z's legal team that downplayed their closeness. Gene argued that those claims conflicted with what many insiders had long witnessed. As timelines are dissected and old footage resurfaces, pressure continues to mount, transforming once quiet associations into unresolved questions that refuse to fade. From Gene's perspective, the comfort and familiarity between Jay-Z and Diddy revealed more than any official statement ever could. He pointed to a moment during an Atlanta show where Diddy invited Jay-Z on stage. Noting how effortless their chemistry appeared, fans quickly noticed the ease between them, and that clip later resurfaced after 50 Cent highlighted it. Keeps
odd to see him in that, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they turned the world real, like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media, like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him, but ring champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like, why now? Because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. She's not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something. So I don't know why they on his head so much. Pause. But I never seen him, under this, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, like I said, for me, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story.
Keeping it in constant online circulation. When asked whether he held any personal resentment toward Jay-Z, Gene dismissed the idea. He explained that his observations had nothing to do with loyalty or bias. Instead, he recalled a past clash that once carried real tension, only for Jay-Z to later appear to brush it off entirely. Gene described this as a familiar pattern among elite figures, individuals who move through intense conflicts, ignite friction, and then continue forward untouched, operating in a rarefied space, far removed from everyday consequences. Dame Dash, once Jay-Z's closest collaborator, recently addressed the serious allegations now surrounding him. Dame noted that what stood out most was not only the claims themselves, but the sheer force of the public response. In all his years, Dame said he had never seen Jay-Z subjected to this level of examination. Decades of influence and power had long positioned him as largely untouchable, especially within mainstream media. That perception, Dame suggested, is now shifting. The protective barrier that once shielded Jay-Z appears to be weakening, exposing him to scrutiny rarely applied to figures of his stature. This marks a clear change in how even the most powerful names are treated when attention intensifies and public patience erodes. What caught Dame off guard most was seeing Jay-Z in unfamiliar territory, reactive, and I
don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when did you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man. Doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. You know, like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know? Until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna?
Sustained pressure. For most of his career, Jay-Z moved without needing to publicly explain himself. His silence often functioned as authority. That makes the current environment especially striking, as the expectation for response grows louder by the day. At the same time, questions continue to surface about why 50 Cent appears so determined to challenge him. Some suggest the Diddy connection alone does not fully explain the tension. Tony Yayo offered deeper context, explaining that friction between 50 and Jay-Z has existed for years. Rooted in rivalry and unresolved questions of loyalty, hip-hop has always thrived on competition, where egos collide and conflicts emerge. However, growth is also part of that journey. Yayo pointed to a recent performance where 50 Cent shared the stage with Dr. Dre, and Cam'ron appeared as well. That moment symbolized old conflict.
There was this one part where 50 was talking, and he was saying, yeah, when Yayo was locked up, every G Unit show, we actually put aside the money.
Bro, I told
for him,
you.
And he had he's like, Yayo had like $1 million.
Right. I just told you, when I came out of my building, I see the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting shot there. And this is what I kind of tell you is like, when we was talking about stacks with the Porsche, 50's not going to let you say, get the Porsche. He going to say, let's get him out the hood first. You know, if the money's there, but the money has to be there for you to live like that. The money's there. 50 didn't have to do that. Rest in peace to Hervé from Interscope, because he always said to me, man, 50 do more for you than any artist, than anybody does for their artists, more than Jay.
Being set aside. Cam'ron later remarked that Jay-Z prioritizes business over culture, point Yayo echoed. He noted that Jay-Z is consistently present at high-level corporate events, while often absent from grassroots hip-hop moments that matter deeply to artists like 50. That perceived imbalance continues to fuel questions about priorities and allegiance. Yayo emphasized a defining contrast between Jay-Z and 50 Cent when it comes to accessibility. While Jay-Z operates at the highest tiers of power with deliberate distance, 50 remains visible and grounded despite his influence. According to Yayo, true stature comes from remembering the foundations that built success, not distancing oneself from them. He recalled a moment involving the super...
Get a Cam'ron.
Yeah.
He made a statement recently. He said that Jay-Z loves money more than hip-hop. And he pointed out that Jay-Z performed at Tom Brady's Hall of Fame ceremony, but he didn't perform in any Hip-Hop 50 events.
I mean, Jay-Z's on a whole nother level. Like, I mean, you know, true. He's like, but you know what I like about 50? 50's on a whole nother level, but he's still approachable. You still get to meet the people and and you know, Jay got to remember the people that made him. You know, I'm not saying I don't got respect. I respect Jay-Z, 50, used to respect, you know, Diddy, but all that crazy shit going on. But, you know, I always respected him because I looked at, for New York, those were like the guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys with the most money and the most influence. So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay. So I think people are just going to say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you got to remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl?
You didn't know that? Yeah, he didn't want...
Well, I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit, yeah.
I remember Eminem was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay... I don't know, 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the...
I mean, you know, it's competition. You got to think, 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember? I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 Cent?
That was a long time ago.
That was what, 9... What? Was that 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole,
but 50 was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming. He told Siegel and them, and Memphis Bleak and all them.
Yeah.
And come on, 50's like, he's on a whole nother level. You gotta remember, he came after niggas. He came after Jay and Rockefeller. G-Unit came, and people might shit on G-Unit, but with Eminem, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, nobody has outsold.
Super Bowl halftime show that left a lasting impression. According to reports, Jay-Z initially resisted including 50 Cent in the lineup. It ultimately took Eminem drawing a firm line refusing to perform unless 50 was included to change the outcome. To Yayo, that episode carried a personal undertone, reflecting long-standing tension and unspoken rivalry rather than simple strategic disagreement. Over time, insiders have claimed that the once solid bond between Jay-Z and Diddy began to erode. Cracks reportedly formed around trust, with growing uncertainty over who would protect their own interests if circumstances turned unfavorable. Some voices have gone further, alleging that Jay-Z may have played a quiet role behind the scenes in Diddy's downfall, an assertion raised publicly by Jaguar Wright but never substantiated. Regardless of accuracy, such speculation highlights a harsh reality at the highest levels of influence. Alliances are conditional, loyalty is fragile, and power structures can shift without warning. Long-time partnerships can transform into strategic standoffs almost overnight. Roger Bonds, Diddy's former head of security, added another layer to the narrative. While he acknowledged seeing Jay-Z and Diddy interact, he stated that he never viewed their relationship.
He says to people, he goes into boardrooms and says to people, which I will never say, is he says, it's important for me to be a billionaire, because Black people need to be billionaires. And why does specifically he, at that time, I've had this conversation with white money people when they go, it's important that Jay-Z becomes a billionaire. And I go, why? And they said, because he wants to open up a casino. He wants to open up this. He should have an alcoholic brand. He needs to have a casino. He needs to have this. And you're like, why the fuck does anybody need a casino? Like another fucking casino
money
in this world.
And it makes it very possible for people to launder money all day.
Yeah. So like, why, even the fact that you want to become so powerful, then you're not saying because he needs to build schools for Black people in Black neighborhoods. It's because he wanted to build casinos for Black people.
For them to keep wasting their money and then for him to keep giving them overpriced merchandise. It's a rat trap.
Yes.
All of it is. The sad part is that hip hop has now turned itself over to this greed machine and doesn't realize its
relationship as genuinely close. According to Roger, Diddy appeared to believe the connection carried more weight than it actually did. His account underscores how surface level familiarity can be mistaken for loyalty in elite circles. Insiders from Diddy's camp have echoed this sentiment, pointing to an imbalance in the relationship. They claim Diddy consistently showed up in support of Jay-Z in ways that were rarely reciprocated, behind closed doors. This pattern suggested uneven loyalty effort flowing strongly in one direction while commitment remained limited in return. Ultimately, Jay-Z and Diddy were never bound by the deep allegiance many assumed. They operated in the same elite spaces, sharing access and influence rather than genuine loyalty. As time passed, that distinction became harder to ignore. Now, with events unfolding publicly, the fractures beneath the surface are impossible to dismiss. The question remains whether this widening divide will continue to intensify and how far the consequences may extend. As scrutiny grows and silence becomes harder to maintain, the industry watches closely. What once seemed untouchable now appears increasingly vulnerable, and the outcome may reshape how power is perceived moving forward. Let us know what you think in the comments.